Hello guys, my name is Rommel Velasquez. Today I have the opportunity to share with all of you the topic syntactical disorder. Well, when I say syntactical disorder, it's a special condition that people suffer. Some studies develop that syntactical condition happen when people in the early life suffer any accident. So when the people suffer any accident, sometimes this illness or this condition appear. What is a syntactical disorder? Syntactical disorder is when the people mix some word into the sentences. As everybody knows, the sentences is composed about different things. And for example, subjects, articles, auxiliaries, verbs, and the complement. In some cases, when those people suffer this illness, syntactical disorder, they miss or they omit some words into the sentences. Some recent studies, scientists discovered a special illness that they name Broca's aphasia. What is a Broca's aphasia? A Broca's aphasia is the inability into the language with the coherence and cohesion. When those people does not have those kind of things, when they speak, they don't speak in a regular way. They omit a lot of words, and it's a little bit too hard to understand those people. The Broca's aphasia especially emphasizes in the inability to produce and the inability to mention some words. These words could be functional words. That words are articles, auxiliaries, and professions. I'm going to give you one example. For example, a regular sentence. He is going on the bus. This sentence has the subject, one auxiliary, one main verb with ing form, a preposition, one determiner, and a noun. When those people speak, they speak in a different way. Where is the eraser? Thank you. For example, when those people speak, or maybe they do a written way, they do this. As you see, these sentences does not have the subject, the auxiliary, maybe have the preposition, but does not have the determiner. And those kind of things, the people, when say these kind of sentences, they don't express a really good coherence in the speech. Another case could be in the United States. For example, about the cultures. When you go to the United States, you can see the white people and the black people. When you hear white people speech, those people speak in academic way. And when you hear black people speaking, it's a little bit very hard to understand those people. For example, white people could say, simple question. Do you have a pen? And in the other case, the black people could say, have a pen. These sentences really, no, it's a really coherence. It's a little bit too hard to understand. And the other side, the other way, the other academic sentence is a little easy to understand. This academic sentence of the question have the particle do, the subject, the verb, a preposition, and the noun. And this is a little bit easy to discover the definition in every part into the sentences. In the other way, that's not. No, it's possible. That means syntactical disorder. Well, now I'm going to leave my partner because he's going to continue to explain little things about the next topic.
Hello guys, my name is Velasquez, and today I'm going to talk about paragrammatics. What is paragrammatics? Paragrammatics is the confused or incomplete use of grammatical structure. Is the inability to form grammatically correct sentence. In other words, is referred to people who have difficulty to using language in context. For example, notes. Many English words have more than one meaning. This word we can think is, if I say mouse, I think could refer an animal or could refer a computer mouse. The other example is fish is ready to eat. We can think of a fish in a bowl, ready to be consumed. I can think in a fish asking for something in a restaurant. In the beginning of this topic, the meaning is the confused or incomplete in the structure grammatically. For example, in this sentence, I think if in this I agree no must complement, but the sentence there understand. For example, the fish is ready to eat. Now, please come in to eat. This sentence is much clearer this sentence because the fish is ready for to eat. Well, this is my explanation about this topic.
Hello, my name is Catherine Torres, and this time I'm going to explain you a specific language impairments, SLI. Okay, this specific language impairment occurs when children present language maturation at least 12 months behind their chronological age, and the absence in the sensory or intellectual deficit. For example, this kind of children have difficulty to speak. It means they can express their own sentence or their own words. and also have difficult to understand complex sentences. For example, they can understand other person when they are talking about, when someone says some long sentence, and also have difficult to read, write, and start a conversation. And read, it's they have difficult to understand an article, for example, and write, they have to imitation another writer, and they can express their own sentence, and start a conversation is difficult for them because they express their own ideas. For example, we have yesterday I played in the park. This case, the kind of children omit the phoneme ed, but the correct sentence is yesterday I played in the park. In this case, the kind of children have difficult to express by themselves the correct verb. We have another example. I drive also a car. This case, we have a disorder of the sentence structure because the correct sentence will be I also drive a car. You can see that we had a problem in the structure, the order of the word. A variety of company or other language may be affected by SLI, including grammatical and syntactic development. For example, the correct verb tense we have there, and order and syntactic structure, semantic development, vocabulary knowledge, and phonological development. For example, phonological awareness of sign and spoken language. For example, when these kind of children speak with other person, they have problems with the sentence that they express because they omitted, in this case, the phonemes or another word. Okay, this is my explanation.
Specific language impairment, known as SLI, is a puzzling condition because it occurs in children who have otherwise normal development. SLI is not associated with intelligence levels. Children with SLI function within the typical developmental range in non-language-based areas, such as non-verbal social interaction, play, and self-help skills. A range of oral language characteristics may be affected by SLI. These include the late onset of talking. First words may not commence until 2 years of age or later. Immature or irregular production of phonemes, particularly in preschool children. The use of simplified or irregular grammatical and syntactical structures, such as the omission of past tense endings, incorrect word order, and sentence structure at a level well below age-appropriate standards. Restricted semantic development affecting vocabulary in both production and comprehension, a weak verbal short-term memory, and difficulties in understanding complex language, especially when the speaker talks rapidly. It is important to note that SLI is heterogeneous, so individual cases will differ significantly. Furthermore, characteristics are not static and age-related change is not uncommon. The diagnostic criteria for SLI is that language is significantly below the standard anticipated for age and IQ, generally understood as scoring in the lowest 10% on a standardized test of expressive and/or receptive language. Non-verbal IQ and non-linguistic aspects of development, such as self-help skills and social skills, are placed within typical limits. Language difficulties cannot be explained by hearing loss, physiological irregularities of the speech apparatus, or environmental deficits. Language difficulties are not the result of brain damage. SLI is diagnosed by an accredited speech pathologist who makes an accurate assessment of the individual's skills and outlines recommendations within an individual intervention program. Early identification and intervention are vital in order to foster language and social growth and to provide children with the best possible learning environment. Children with SLI will not learn language the same way as other children through immersion and encouragement. They will need language to be explicitly taught. To learn and develop to their full potential, they will require ongoing support throughout their school years. Research indicates that language ability is a distinguishing feature in the development of literacy, numeracy, and academic competency. Students with SLI, therefore, will have difficulties with literacy and overall academic achievement. Because reading relies upon grammar and syntax, semantics and phonological skills, and these are the language skills that characteristically students with SLI have difficulty with, students with SLI have a significant risk of having a reading difficulty. Indeed, research indicates that 40 to 75% of students with SLI have difficulties with learning to read. Research suggests that approximately 1 to 3% of children have SLI. During adolescence, the language difficulties of students with SLI are not readily obvious in everyday conversations. However, adolescents with SLI may have difficulty reconciling their desire with their ability to engage in social discourse with their peers. Not being able to understand information or other people or express yourself easily can lead to ridicule, bullying, as well as social isolation and subsequent behaviour problems due to anger and frustration. Research indicates that students with SLI are at a social disadvantage to their peers and participate less in verbal social exchanges, possess poorer conversational skills, and are less likely to show skilled prosocial behaviour. Hence, SLI is a risk factor for poorer friendship development. Research indicates that some teenagers with SLI will experience high levels of anxiety, which can hinder their learning experiences. Therefore, the identification and delivery of support for anxiety in SLI is likely to generate an environment that fosters emotional welfare and positive learning outcomes for students.
Okay guys, I'm going to give a small conclusion about the topic. Well, we developed the topic syntactic disorder, and we find in the topic those subtopics. For example, broadcast aphasia is a small summary. Broadcast aphasia, as I said before, is a special condition that happens in some people that maybe those people have had an accident, and that's the brain. That's the way that they suffer this condition, broadcast aphasia, because they have brain injuries. Agrammatism. This is a particular way how people speak. As I say, some people speak in one way I mentioned, and for example, the white and the black people in the United States, some people speak in one way and another people speak in another way. One people speak in academic way, and the other people speak in maybe a non-academic way. It's a little bit hard to understand those kind of people. Paragrammatism. This means when you say a specific word, maybe the receptionist or the other person start to think in different things. For example, the writing example was the word mouse. People could start to think in their animal, the mouse, or maybe in the gadget about the device, about the computer, the mouse computer. And the last one, a specific language impairment. This this condition happens especially in children in their early life, because they can produce academic sentences, so they omit some words in the sentence. Well, that's all for us. Thank you very much. See you.